Hello, I'm Chris Williams, and welcome to Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on Library or BitChute, welcome to Comic Freak. Today we're going to be talking about Justice League Dark is back on track, but in a different way. Yeah. Apparently, J.J. Abrams and his Bad Robot Company are going to be overseeing Justice League Dark. And I have my problems with that, mainly because most of the articles I've seen have been praising J.J. Abrams, even though a lot of people, know that he's just a hack. And the fact that he's going to get into the Justice League just makes my stomach turn a bit. Among the many DC Comics movies that have been in development over the years is Justice League Dark, centered on the team of magical and supernatural heroes from the DC universe. There hasn't been any word on Justice League Dark for years now, but news has come in that these characters could not only still appear on the big screen, but in multiple movies. Yeah, they're thinking about, doing what they did with the Marvel Universe and just setting them up in their own, solo movies before they bring them up in a big team-up movie like Avengers. I've heard they're doing this because they've taken the MCU as an example of how to do it right for superhero movies. You'll recall that last September, J.J. Abrams' production company Bad Robot Productions signed a 5-year deal with Warner Media, immediately promoting speculation about if Abrams and his team would tackle any DC Comics properties. Fast forward to today, Deadline reports that Bad Robot is exclusively developing film and TV ideas centered on Justice League Dark characters. As of right now, there aren't any specific characters or projects in development. The outlet mentioned that Bad Robot's head of motion pictures, Hannah Mangahela, and head of television, Ben Stevenson, will be meeting with prospective writers and their agents soon about which characters will be spotlighted. I know somewhat of Justice League Dark, and 3 characters stand out. John Constantine and Swamp Thing are 2 characters that have been promoted by DC before and have headed their own movies and television series respectively, while Zatanna has been a popular character on, the animated spin-offs at times. She's a newcomer, and much like Deadman and Detective Chimp, will probably be heavily promoted because, they are popular characters in the DC mythos. And hopefully they will be able to bring in many moviegoers who would love to see them up on the big screen. Of course, getting back to this article, we're going to go over those characters as well as other characters that are going to be in the Justice League Dark movie. It's safe to say that there isn't any shortage of Justice League Dark members to choose from introduced to the comics in 2011 at the start of the New 52 reboot. The team's lineup has included John Constantine, Zatanna, Deadman, Swamp Thing, Black Orchid, Madame Xanadu, Dr. Mist, and many more. Outside of the printed page, a Justice League Dark animated movie was released in 2017, and there were plans to feature members of the team in the TV shows, Constantine and Swamp Thing, but both were canceled after their first seasons due to executive meddling and because DC didn't have much faith in these series, even though both characters, as I've said, have headed their own movies in the past. While Constantine had a movie in the mid-aughts, Swamp Thing had 2 movies, as well as a TV series on USA in the early 90s, as well as an animated series as well that lasted for a short time before being canceled. In all, both those characters are rather well known outside of the comics, somewhat. Even if both these characters had TV series that were canceled because of bad faith from DC as well as not putting in the respective money to make these series work. But as I've said, Zatanna is a rather popular character in DC Comics as well as in the animated series from the 90s and aughts as well. I'd say these characters are so popular they're the most well-known characters outside of the Justice League itself, and should be well featured in this movie and will probably bring in a profit for DC. What's unclear from the update is if this means the original Justice League Dark movie could still see the light of day. First announced in late 2012, originally the plan was for Guillermo del Toro to direct what had the working title of Dark Universe, and towards the end of 2014 he handed a script in to Warner Brothers. However, by summer of 2015, del Toro departed the project, and while doing Doug Liman was tapped as his successor. The following year he exited it by May 2017 because the story never got to a place where he felt comfortable pursuing it. But after these 2 directors left, they gave the project to J.J. Abrams and Bad Reboot because DC and Warner Media spent millions trying to get J.J. Abrams to sign up with them. And whether or not Disney intentionally, destroyed and sabotaged Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, just to hurt J.J. Abrams' chances with Warner Media, that's up to debate because, after all, this is J.J. Abrams we're talking about here, who's destroyed more franchises and basically never finished any project. And the one project he actually finished, which was Star Wars Episode 9, he totally destroyed. So I have to imagine that DC is kind of sweating bullets now because they think they've hired a loser. A loser with very good press in the past, but still now a loser who everyone can see is just completely just a hack and can't do a job right. But that's pretty much the public opinion now on J.J. Abrams, and I have to agree with that opinion because I've seen nothing good from him. If you pay attention to superhero movie news, you know that the DC Extended Universe landscape has changed significantly following Justice League's underwhelmingly critical and commercial performance. Some movies are still moving forward as planned, while others have deprioritized, adjusted, or outright sold. This is pure guesswork, but I suspect that Bad Robot tackling the Justice League dark characters means that the original movie concept has been tabled in favor of going in a new direction. Of course, then the two questions remain. First, which Justice League dark characters will be presented on the big screen, and which will be presented on the small screen? Given Swamp Thing's streaming troubles, and John Constantine having already gotten a lot of time in the Arrowverse, I'm guessing those two will get their own movies. But for everyone else, it's hard to say. As for the second, will we ever see a fully formed Justice League dark team in either the movies or television? You can be sure there are plenty of fans who are still hoping that it happens. It also remains to be seen if Bad Robot will focus exclusively on the Justice League Dark realm, or if they'll get to work on other corners of the DC universe. I've often seen it suggested that J.J. Abrams would be a good fit for a Superman movie. He nearly had the chance to work on one, but at the point, we don't even know if Abrams will helm any of these Justice League Dark projects. I've heard it suggested that J.J. Abrams would be good for Superman too, and I have to say no. J.J. Abrams is just a cinematic hack, or as others have said, like Doomcock, the cinematic Antichrist. He would not be good for Superman. J.J. Abrams' movies have just been hacked messes. Star Trek, the one he made in 2009, just basically was Star Wars light. Star Trek, a series that is well known for its actual science fiction and not just sci-fi, was reduced to just another bland sci-fi movie. When people actually think about Star Trek, they think about interesting alien species like the Klingons or the Vulcans, how they relate and are different from humans, the Klingons being a warrior race while the Vulcans being highly logical. Each in their own respective are different and similar to humans, the Vulcans being warriors and prone to emotion, while the Vulcans try to horn their emotions and try to, repress them and basically live logically, much like humans. So in an actual science fiction setting, you see how these alien species are similar and different from us with their interactions with the Federation. You see how they get along. You also see the high technology that has been created by the Federation and how all these alien species and humans live in relative comfort. But J.J. Abrams, he just gives us a rip-roaring adventure where a bunch of Romulans and Spock get sent back in time, kill Kirk's father and altering Kirk's destiny, and basically instead of spending years at Starfleet learning to be a captain, he gets to be captain by the end of the movie because of his heroic efforts, pretty much like in Star Wars, where it's basically just a hero's journey. Unlike Star Trek, where it basically has real-world consequences and people have to work for what they want to get. If you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people, so make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You. Then go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. And if you could you also please share this video, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, and share it on Reddit. Share it anywhere you think it'll do the most good because YouTube is not going around promoting their own YouTube creators anymore, and it would really help me if you could please share this video. Now listen closely, it's plug-in time again. Keep checking back in all my future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.